Okay. See two more people waiting to get audio, and we'll get 5 past in exactly 2 minutes.
Good morning, Melanie. How are you doing?
I'm almost sure that Melanie can hear us, but for some reason, we won't be able to hear her. WebEx is not working properly on her side, I know, from yesterday's call.
Okay, well, welcome anyway.
Yes.
I think dialing in from Lansing, isn't that correct?
I'll answer for her, yes. I see a couple of more people are just waiting to get audio, and we'll get started in about 10 seconds. Okay, let's kick it off. Good morning, afternoon, and evening for some folks around the globe. Thank you for joining us. My name is Oren Avramov. I head the Americas for Plesk, and I will be the moderator today for today's call. Today we will cover the importance of offering solutions to specific targets. It's very important that providers provide a full solution that can help customers focus on what they do best. Just very briefly on Plesk, I won't spend a lot of time, just a couple of liners, and then we'll get started. Really with Plesk, we have a full platform with tool sets that can help web professionals really solving their pain points and simplifying their lives so they can focus on what they do best on their side, either develop or if it's an agency, really manage or a designer, really for the web professionals to really focus on what they do best. Please note that today's webinar is being recorded, and it will be made available to you after the call, so we'll send it over to you for future viewing, or if you want to share it internally with your teams. We are going to get started on today's webinar. Of course, the title is, what we're going to cover is self-solutions, not infrastructure. And your presenter for today is Dermot Daltoon. Dermot Daltoon has over 10 years of industry experience. He's worked for 1&1. He's been with Parallels and Odin. And now he's the Chief Sales Officer of Plesk. So with no further ado, I'll pass it on to Dermot to kick things off. Go ahead, Dermot.
Thank you very, very much, Oren. And yeah, thanks for that lovely introduction. And welcome as well from my side to everybody. I'm really, really glad to have you, and thanks for joining us today. And I hope this session for you is somewhat informative. I would also greatly appreciate feedback afterwards as well with suggestions where you may want us to do something either a little bit differently or just more of the same. I am just going to quickly mute 1 or 2 participants. I hope you don't mind. I'm trying to see where the noise is coming from. The audio is working, I can tell you, for whoever was just asking. You can't hear anything, okay? Let me see. Because I can tell you that most other people. Mike Castellano, can you please confirm that you can hear properly? Hello? Mike? Srikanth, I can see that you're not connected to audio at all. And also, Tim, I'm hearing that you couldn't hear me through the computer. Can you hear through the phone? Okay, great. And anyone else who's having any difficulty, you can actually get WebEx to call you, just like Tim has done. Srikanth, you can do the same. You can actually use the call me option on WebEx, and it will call you on whatever phone number. That may work better for you. Okay, and Mike, you can hear fine, just no microphone. That's perfect. All right. Just want to make sure we have, there's no point in me rambling on if none of you can hear what's going on. I'm just going to check the chat as well. If you have any questions during the entire piece here, please jump in and ask away. And now that we've covered most of the awkward formal part at the beginning, let's get cracking. Here's a little overview of what we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about some of the industry trends, some of the numbers, a topic that's very much present in all of our minds today, the rise of the hyperscalers. We're also going to talk about how websites are built today, what tools they're built with, or what CMSs are using. We're also going to talk about the rise of managed services. Managed services having many different definitions, but we will go into a bit more detail later. Also, we will talk about the importance of focusing or of specializing on particular target groups or on doing something well. Then we'll move into the piece which is more talking about the solutions, the Plesk solutions. What are they, in our view? And of course, I hope that you will leave at the end of this with an idea of what you should do about this. And of course, part of that is going to be working together with your Plesk contacts. So your account manager, your sales engineer, with anybody else from Plesk, we are going to help you to implement some solutions of your own. Okay. First of all, I'd like you all, please, if you don't mind, to join us on just a little bit of interaction here, where we're going to ask regarding an interactive poll that we have. So you can either, I don't know if you can click on this, but I'd also post this link to the chat. So just give me a second. We will go back for 1 second here. Let me just post this link to the chat. Pardon me for 1 moment. Thank you, Oren, for posting that.
Just added it.
Great. Superb. Okay. So the first question I have for everyone, and Oren, I think you have this question up here. So correct. We wanted to ask you which hyperscaler is relatively growing fastest in the number of web-facing servers. Feel free, please, to have a guess, to take your stab at this. Let's all vote. This is just me casting my vote. And here I would like to see how we're doing. And we seem to have more or less some kind of a result happening here. So I'm just going to pause this and see what we have. Oh, still going, still being cast. Okay. So in actual fact, the truth is Alibaba Cloud, not Amazon Web Services. And I'll just share this graph with you here, something that you may have seen from us in some way, shape, or form. We update it periodically. The source is Netcraft, so it's web-facing servers, so it's not total number of servers, it's web-facing servers. And you can see that the clear leader of the pack really since the middle of 2011 is AWS, Amazon Web Services. But we can see that the new number 2 in this list is Alibaba Group, so Ali Cloud, who are coming on in leaps and bounds, both on a China domestic market, but also starting to make an impact internationally, springing up data centers and regions everywhere around the world. If we look to Digitalocean, number 3 on this list, Digitalocean had been growing phenomenally between 2014, 2016. That was kind of the peak growth. But I guess what was happening there is that Digitalocean was hitting the developer market, to whom they appeal very strongly and very genuinely. And now that they've hit quite a large percentage, but there are also quite a lot of new players. And also some of the more traditional hosters have also started targeting that particular area. The first traditional hoster which is on this list would be OVH. OVH, I don't know if everybody knows OVH. I believe we have a few people from OVH even on this call. One of them is Mr. Dionigi, who runs the Italian business for OVH. So welcome, Dionigi. The point here is that OVH is really one of the only traditional hosters which is managing to keep up. And of course, part of that is through large investment, but also because OVH has a very appealing proposition for developers and that they are very focused on their business, not trying to do too much at one time. We also have the traditional infrastructure provider, Hetzner. Let me also mute whoever is causing the... I'm trying to find the culprit here. There we go. Sorry, guys. If you want to say something, or if you would like to, please either just type it into the chat, either to myself and Oren, and we can unmute you, or you can probably unmute yourself. Okay. So, anyhow, getting back to the topic here. So, Hetzner, a very traditional infrastructure provider, and still with some very good market share today. There are some people underneath, like Microsoft, that are growing fast enough, but we can even see in this curve, nobody has the same type of curve as Alibaba Group, who's really very aggressively going after this market. So if you haven't been looking at them, please do take a look. There's also some notable ones which are missing here. They're smaller providers, but providers that I find also very, very good to look at, especially in the simplicity of their services. One is called Vulture. I'm sure you're aware of that as well. Again, a very limited, small offering, and something that I think is appreciated. But if we look towards some of the old giants, and I call them old giants, and I know that some of you are on this call, we talk about GoDaddy, United Internet, the Host Europe Group, Endurance Group. We see here that everybody else here is really so far down the list, and that this graph itself is almost, it's going to get harder and harder, I think, to represent. And my assumption is that AWS and AWS, Alibaba, they're going to continue to grow up there. I know some others are putting in plenty of effort, but it's going to be hard to stay on the same scale. Okay, let's move on. So I wanted to ask you as well to think about the total number of websites, because the business we're in is, of course, has to do with hosting, cloud, and most of that has to do with web applications or websites. This is the number as of a few minutes ago, according to Internet Live Stats, of the number of websites in the world. And if we think about it, there's actually even quite a bit more, probably, but just the figures from other providers, we would land in at about 1.7, 1.76 billion. But let us just go then to a quick other poll question, please. And Oren, if you could start the next question, that would be fantastic. So what I'm asking here is, what do these websites have in common? Can anybody tell me? And also pick your favorite. I think my favorite has to be Snoop Dogg. He's just such a cool guy. Let's see what people are saying. Oh, excellent. My favorite came number 2. That's brilliant. But yes, you are all correct. They are all built with WordPress. And of course, they may all smoke weed, but we don't know that. So let's have a look then at what the websites are built with today. And the number that's in the top right quadrant, 28.2%, that is WordPress. And this number actually I have to update quite often because they're growing so fast. Like just last month they were at 27.9, so they're growing like a significant percentage every couple of weeks. And some of the other players here are a little bit of a surprise. I suppose that Wix.com have such a large share of the market today. Not known to me, but obviously putting this together for several months, I get a better feeling for it. Webs.com is something else that I had not looked at previously. Weebly, I think we're all pretty much familiar with, especially in the industry. They're very active because they only go through the partner channel, or mostly only go through the partner channel. Then we have two very important notable ones, Joomla and Drupal. And they're notable because they are very, very often used for high traffic websites. So Joomla and Drupal, whilst they're much less well known or much less used than WordPress, for instance, still they're used for some very high traffic websites. And there are a lot of passionate people behind those as well. We know this. And just think about it, please, and remind yourself as well that more than every second website today that gets built, new website, is built with WordPress, and that's how they're growing. So let's just talk about managed services just for a moment. I've just included a link here down through to marketsandmarkets.com. You can have a quick look at that. Everybody has their own opinion of managed service. But what is a managed service really today, and why is it important? The point is that with generic services that can be easily compared with one another, so the commodity, so this, we started off painting the picture of the hyperscaler. This means that these guys are going to be able to, of course, go and drop pricing and do things very, very efficiently in such a scale that it's going to be very hard to keep up. And competing on price alone, we all know, is no fun. We are out there, all of us, also to earn some money out of this business. And what is really important is that there is a bigger trend towards managed services. Several reasons. One, I guess, is that people really want to have problems solved. They want to go and they want to do their business or spend time. We polled a whole load of WordPress agencies, and we found out that WordPress agencies are spending over 50% of the time they should be working on client projects, actually more on configuration, security, updating, you name it. It's everything but working on the actual content. So updating plugins and doing all of that administration. It's the reason why we came up with our WordPress toolkit as well. And there's also a lot of other areas. So any managed service provider, it's still a very healthy business. There are a few knock-on effects because there's more people getting into this business, but I think that there's plenty in there for everybody. So again, this is just one of the definitions of what a managed service provider is looking after today. And I wanted to really bring things, or start bringing things together, talking about managed AWS, managed Azure, managed OVH, managed whatever you would like. The point is that a lot of people, like Media Temple, who started off quite early, where they realized, oh, they're churning out some of their larger customers. Where are they going to? They're going to AWS. So they started offering a managed AWS service. And really what it is the secret really is in the management layer and in the service that people are getting, rather than in the provision of the actual infrastructure, which really is a commodity. One little point here, most of you can read, at least I hope you can. Congratulations. One of the things I wanted to say was regarding the move from integration to really providing something simple, so something for people to use. And the last point here regarding some valuations, just for those of you who are interested in this here, it says that valuations are going to drop a little bit because of the increase in the number of players in the market, not because of the actual revenue being generated or margins being generated by these particular companies. Let's move on just onto focus and specialization. I think all of you know of the company Wpengine. Is that correct? Has anyone not heard of Wpengine? Is anyone going to admit this? Okay. Wpengine came on the scene, I'd say, I think about 2013, sometime like in and around that. Only focusing on managed WordPress, but it is a shared managed WordPress platform. And what they have done is also demonstrated to many that it is possible to command a higher unit price when you're providing a quality service and when you're hitting a very specific target audience. And that's what these guys do, and they do it very well. They don't have their own infrastructure. They base it on somebody else's platform. I believe it's Linode. I'm not 100% sure. But they are commanding $29 for one single instance of WordPress, albeit managed, but still, I know that a lot of hosters and a lot of you who are out there today, that you would even start at something like $1.50 per month or something to that effect. With Plesk, we believe that that WordPress is also a fantastic opportunity for everybody to do it in a quality way, to leverage Plesk in order to help with some of the heavy lifting. In other words, to lower the barriers to offering that managed service. We'll come back to that WordPress server in a moment. Digitalocean I already spoke about. I think what is great about Digitalocean and what I really like about what they've done over the years, even though their growth is slowing, I have to say they are focused on a very specific target group, developers. They come across in a very, very authentic way to their developers, to this developer audience. And I think it's something that we should note. It's not about going and only working with developers, because there's a limited number of developers in the world. But still, what we're talking about is the target group that suits you and your DNA is the one that you should be appealing to, because you can do that authentically. And that's the same case here in Digitalocean. And anybody who has not heard of this company, Cloudways, they're based in Spain and in other places. What they do is they offer a managed service, and it's managed AWS, managed Azure, Vultr, Keyup, which is the platform from SiteGround, for anyone who didn't know that. And then we have several other clouds that they cover as well. I think they also offer Digitalocean as well. And they apply the management layer on top of these. So in other words, they are like a managed service provider, but with no infrastructure of their own, and doing it in a very clever way. And it's just something that I would encourage you to have a look at. So before I move into the solutions piece, does anyone have any comments, any questions? Would they like to say something? All is quiet in the hood. The chat is also quiet. Okay, all right. So either everybody is so enthralled, I hope you guys are still nice and alive, and if not, get yourself a coffee. So this is what we're here to talk about today. What is the solution? We have, in the simplest way, so some infrastructure, which can be, of course, your infrastructure. I am not saying move away from having your own infrastructure and only host with OVH or whatever, although that would be fine. But what I'm saying is that the trend is leading to that direction, and the signs are there, and we know that a lot of larger customers, larger partners of ours have done this, that they have in fact actually relinquished their own infrastructure and have moved to a public cloud provider, but they're still putting together their offerings on top. So what I would like to say today, take some infrastructure, take Plesk as the basis for your solution, something which is a great enabler, great platform for this, plus some selected extensions, and add configuration. And that's really one of the key pieces, this configuration piece. So this is something that we had ignored a little bit in the past. We had provided Plesk, already, of course, a great tool, a great platform to our partners. And we did provide some help as to how they should set it up and how they should get it ready for their customers to use. But in truth, we didn't go all the way. And what we've done now is we've created a set of cookbooks or scripts, and I'll share those details with you just in a few minutes. And one thing we've also done is we've made an onboarding extension. And this onboarding extension is also part of these cookbooks. And I'd just like to show you what that onboarding extension looks like today. And what I have is here, for those of you who know the Plesk UI well, what we have is we have this particular extension here, which we can use. It's like a widget that we can use to show people, to welcome them. You can brand it. You can put your own company logo, colors, whatever you want inside of it. Also, the steps here that first-time user or the person who is using Plesk for the first time, the steps you want them to do immediately. So we're saying here with this one here, this is for the business server solution. We're saying here to them to create a WordPress website. They've done that. We're saying create mailboxes and folders with Plesk Premium email. This has been done as well. Protect your server. Lots of things regarding this. So also, one of the steps to be done here is to optimize the website with page speed, which also would contain some analytics as well. And this year, we've done two different ones. We've done one for the business server and one for the WordPress server. So let me just show you those components at the moment. I'll come back to these suggested solutions. So with the business server, what will be pre-installed by those scripts, and by the way, these scripts are a suggestion to you. Please make them your own, add other amazing things from our extension catalog. Also, feel free to come up with your own extensions, or we can also help you with that. But here we have the focus on what would a small company need. This is a premium email or collaboration product. We have the email security pack. We have firewall protection, semantic-free SSL certificate, which will be part of it from next week onwards. So I know that Let's Encrypt is fantastic, and we are all big, big lovers of Let's Encrypt, but we also would like to be able to help you and ourselves, of course, to monetize the situation with SSL. And Let's Encrypt or basic SSL from Symantec, they're fantastic for people who are just maybe using a machine for development purposes. But anyone who has a serious business, e-commerce, any serious website, anything that they want the trust really to stand out, they're going to pay for an SSL certificate, and it might as well be through you. So we also have the WordPress toolkit included, the Plesk security advisors. This brings people through the steps of securing their server, and BoldGrid. And for those of you who have not yet heard of BoldGrid, BoldGrid is a fantastic tool which sits on top of WordPress in order to make it into a website builder. And it still means that someone from a company can still work with an agency if they want, who would be a fully fledged WordPress agency. All possible. And as I said, the configuration is really what's important. We want everything to be configured from the get-go. We don't want to have to say, here is Plesk, work it out or work out your way. We want people to immediately start solving their problems. We think the focus should be on the customer's problem that is going to be solved. So it's not about go and learn this or go and learn how to do that. We want it to be intuitive. So this was the best way we have of doing it at the moment. And here is, as I was saying, the link to the GitHub repository, to the Git repository, which is on GitHub for the business server. We have some documentation. We have the scripts themselves that install Plesk, the extensions, they configure them. It also goes to our key administrator and gets the licenses. So really, it will be more than the basis of what you will need in order to get up and running. Again, please feel free to use their suggestion, but even better would be if you take it and you fork it and you create your own solution. So you add your own flavor to it where you're looking to really target that audience. And when I was talking about the different types of solutions, just to help maybe get some of those brains going, we have for you the business server, the WordPress server. We know some of our partners have launched ready-to-code environments for developers, which is fantastic. A developer doesn't want to spend all of the time configuring, securing everything in the machine. They want to get straight to doing what they're doing, which is coding their application. Then we have, of course, like a high security server, something for maybe slightly larger organizations. And one of the last suggestion there is a Forex or a trading server. And what we're talking about here is anything from foreign exchange, stocks and shares, but also cryptocurrencies, whatever you have. So many things that are happening today. And I just think that this is also a great opportunity in some markets. But this is only the beginning of a list. There are many more. And as I said, make sure that you're providing the solutions that you're able to bring across genuinely to your partners or to your end customers. We covered the business server, and the WordPress server itself just has a couple of different things in it. We have the page speed insights. Again, we have the free SSL certificate. Again, we have the security advisor, because this really is something which makes it so easy to secure the server. And a lot of our partners are leveraging Plesk today in order to provide the managed service to their end customers. So if you're not doing that today, that's also something we can talk about. I want to just, this last one here, so the WordPress server link on GitHub. So if you search for Plesk on GitHub or Plesk, the WordPress server, and we will be sending around this presentation so you can have this as a note, and we'll send it on to you. I believe we'll be sending it out tomorrow. So quick recap from my side. Why are solutions important? Once more, they really, really help you to address specific target groups. Again, whether it's SMBs or developers or digital agencies, whatever your target group is, it is good to focus. And of course, I hope that the figures that I've shown earlier on, and those who are doing well and growing quickly and whatever, it's focus that is required. They also help you move away from a pure infrastructure proposition. We all know people selling servers, VPSs, VMs, or even cloud, whatever they want to call it. And normally it's a case of gigabytes and traffic and whatever else, focusing on the techie specs. We want to help that transition, and this was something that Wpengine did quite well, because they are appealing to even their offerings with professional, enterprise, whatever. They are turning it away from the technology, and they're turning it more towards solving the business problem. And one of the things, so I was saying as well, make sure that you tailor your bundles. Differentiation is still important, but really so is quality and so is service. Those 2 points are also really important. But here for you, more dollars, more bang for your buck. And the really great example, or we have some great examples also from people here on this call. So thanks to Liquid Web, who have launched one of the, let's say, a precursor to our solutions, but I'm sure we'll be doing a lot more together, but something which is going well. And they have an offering for IT admins today, so really for DevOps. And they also have an offering for developers. And I believe both of those are performing very well. So also big shout out to Liquid Web. Okay, so the old argument, the last one regarding the that it's harder for a customer to migrate or to move away when additional services are enabled. I don't really like putting it that way. It is true, but what we really mean is that if they're satisfied that they're getting everything from you, there's no reason for them to go away. And when you're solving somebody's problem, price is not really on the forefront of their mind. So before I hand it back over to Oren to field any questions, I would just like to leave you with this again, please. So sell solutions, not infrastructure. That's the main message here. I hope everyone's gotten that. I think so. And I also want to share with you that we will be having a couple of other webinars in the future, and we will let you know about them. And they'll be available through our web pages. So come back and check out what we're doing. So thanks. Oren.
That is correct. Definitely, we want to continue on a frequency to bring important elements in data and movements in the industry and markets, and how we can help you really target the segments that you guys are focusing on. And a key component right now, what Dermot covered, is the solutions play and how it is important to really zoom in and really tackle the issues or the problems or the pain points of those segments, and how you can solve their problems with a full solution, a bundled solution, not just talking about here is the infrastructure, here is the bandwidth, here is the storage, but really zooming in and demonstrating to them how you solve the problems, and including a bundle on that front that tackle the security item, that tackle the important WordPress toolkit or a WordPress application, applications that matter to them. So we will definitely continue on a global scale, and we'll have global webinars and also regional webinars to continue this, to demonstrate the important value, the important elements, the applications to build solutions, and of course how to market them. So we'll have different kind of webinars on that front. Any questions from anyone by chat or by, I see there's something in the chat here, I think. Okay, thank you, Donnie from OVH. Any questions, please feel free to use the chat or jump in and ask any question from Dermot or to Dermot.
We're getting some questions here in the chat, Owen. So one of them is a very good one here. So from Corey, thank you, Corey. You have a WordPress toolkit with valuable features like staging for WordPress, but what about staging being available for all the open source CMS? I shared with Corey that we are currently working on a Joomla toolkit also, and we do intend to work on toolkits for other open source CMSs. It does take quite a lot. It may seem quite trivial, but actually it's rather a large undertaking to do it well. So regarding others that Corey was asking about, the Drupal, OpenCart, and PrestaShop, what I will do is I will also pass this on, and I will discuss this with our engineering, making sure that people are on that, and I will deliver back some information to you as to when other things are in the pipeline. I know that it should be, it is our goal to have a solution for all of these, but as you understand, we must do them one after another. Tim, sorry?
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say there's also a question from Tim Otterbein. So asking if this platform feature is a new capability of latest Plesk Onyx. I would say that a lot of the interaction between these extensions has come with the Plesk 12.5 and Plesk Onyx. But this really is a piece of scripting that I suppose pretty much anyone could have done, but that we should have probably done quite a while ago. So I'm just really happy that we've now done it. So I don't know, Tim, if that answers your question. So in part, the interaction of those extensions possible with later versions of Plesk, but starting with really 12, 12.5 and Onyx. But the component of turning something into a solution is made possible by this set of scripts, the Plesk onboarding extension, which you can also customize for yourself. It's not rocket science. You do need a little bit of coding experience, but I'm sure we can also help you through getting familiar with that. And also a question from Machen, asking if a replay will be available for anyone who missed the meeting. Yes, indeed. We will send out the link to this recording. And from Corey, if end users can develop those toolkits. The toolkits are being developed as extensions. And yes, anybody can develop an extension. And if you're interested in doing something or interested in developing some extensions, we have extensive documentation, how-tos on how to do things like that. And I believe we will also do a webinar or two on how to do some development of extensions. So we should be covering something like that in the coming months. But please get in touch with us, and we'll make sure that you have the necessary documentation and that we share with you where you can get all of that. Okay, and that's it from my side. Oren, that's it from the chat.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mark and Tim and Corey, for your questions. Please feel free to reach out to your account managers for additional details. I'm sure they'll reach out to you as well after we send the recording of this webinar. Also, please, any suggestions on future webinars that you guys would like to see, funnel it our way. We'd love to cover important topics that are something that you guys want to see. So thank you so much for everybody for joining. We appreciate it, and we'll send that out to you as soon as possible. Have a great day. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you all.